Many people wanted to buy the EV. I spoke many people. We did a research also on this. Only range anxiety is the issue.
Correct.
And the long-term cost, nobody think about it. They think the current running cost.
So if we compare, why the decision about buying of vehicle takes place, one is very clear, and some facts have to be put very clearly, removing the myths about electric vehicle. Electric vehicle comes around 20 to 30% on the higher side of the cost, right, than the similar ICE vehicles. So it's a given. There is no rocket science into that. If we see the efficiencies, electric vehicle is 82% efficient. If you see ICE vehicle is around 23 to 30% efficient. So you gain a huge amount by getting all those comforts and efficiency of the vehicle. If you look at the running cost is around 1/3 to 1/5 of the running cost of the ICE vehicle. Now, all these equations are extremely clear on the basics of why one buys, the electric vehicle. Range anxiety has been there, but if you see the range of even two-wheelers has become 150 kilometers. Four-wheelers have gone to 350, 400, 500 kilometers.
Yes.
So I think that is a notion which is kind of getting addressed. If we see the price points of electric vehicle in the form of kind of components, critical components, the battery comes at around 40% of the overall EV.
Yes, I agree.
And every year, if we see the kind of way that lithium ion prices are falling down by around 15 to 20%, the same battery could come in 5 years at around 1/5 of the cost. So even the replacement where Tata Motors is guaranteeing 8 years warranty, and others are also giving that. So I think all this is securing.
Manufacturers are doing their best of giving such a long-term warranty of batteries, 8 years or I think 1 lakh kilometer, 1.5.
1 lakh.
It's I think in my life this is my 6th or 7th car. And I have one Mercedes which I bought it in 2014. Till now it has run just 70,000 kilometers. So can you imagine 1 lakh kilometer? That ends the life of the vehicle.
True.
So from the manufacturer side, they are supporting these end user and encouraging them to buy this.
Absolutely.
So the point I was trying to make was about this notion of the end users returning some of the electric vehicle. I feel that there is a kind of a negative notion that is coming, which is, I believe, is not related with the facts.
So to address your question which you had asked previously, is the psyche shifting from EV to ICE? If at all there is a news, अगर धुआं आया है तो कहीं तो कुछ थोड़ा आग लगा होगा. Okay, so to accept that कि okay, maybe to a certain extent that impact might have happened. So there are some probable reasons which I feel might have happened, out of which one is the lack of charging infrastructure that is not available, which we failed to develop simultaneously while making the EV vehicles as such. That is number one. The second point is, if we talk about the FAME 1 and FAME 2 policies, manufacturer's point of view, the policies and the subsidies which were launched couldn't reach the end beneficiary due to, again, n number of other reasons. So somewhere the implementation of the government plans also plays an important role, which will play an important role in the FAME 3 schemes also. If at all there is going to be any benefits to the manufacturers, like in the Gujarat government, if you see, the consumer directly has received the subsidies from the government. Whereas in Maharashtra, if we are to talk about, it is a lengthy process.
Yes.
It's a lengthy process.
Absolutely.
And that's how the manufacturers have ended up making losses. Whosoever made the EVs, and they couldn't benefit out of those FAME 2 schemes. So this can be one of the reasons why EV to ICE. And I think news. The kind of news that has been floating, like you said, there's a lift and the battery blasted. this negative news definitely plays a negative psyche on the Indian minds.
But not for a long term. It's a short term.
Yes,
I think
so-
It's
Yeah, so if at all
Yeah.
there is a chunk, a minor chunk though, as far
Yes.
as my opinion goes, it's a very minor chunk. So this might be the probable reasons which can be catered to and which can be taken care of in the long run. So as such, if we are to talk about the major psyche, where we are going as a country, as far as the minds of the people are also concerned, we are moving in the positive direction. If you see the sales of the EV vehicles that have happened in the past 2 to 3 years, they are skyrocketing like anything.
absolutely.
Reason being, any Indian you pick up, we are way too emotional as compared to the other lot globally. We, even if we are paying more, as you rightly pointed out, 20 to 30% higher cost we are paying for any EV that we buy. Okay. We are ready to pay, but we are happy and we are satisfied in our hearts ki, okay, it is going to bring down the overall emissions by this nominal percentage, but I am doing my bit.
Absolutely.
So overall psyche is positive.
Yes.
And overall we are moving in the right direction. Only thing is, whatever previously I have pointed out, building the charging infrastructure simultaneously, making out policies where the implementation of the government policies reach the beneficiary properly. If we are able to take these and manage these, I think we are moving out in the right direction.
Right. Yeah.
As we are saying, talking about policies, let's also, there is one more news recently which is floating around, is about giving some special subsidies for hybrid vehicles. And it is same government that is talking about it. And there is a great pushback and forth about why not EVs, why not FAME, what is the next for FAME, and why the topic of hybrid has come at all. Okay, so if we just take examples of who is making hybrids in India, apart from two-wheelers, mainly four-wheelers, you will find Toyota and Maruti. They have the same vehicle which is getting manufactured. It is called as white labeling. Toyota Hyryder is getting actually branded as a Maruti vehicle, and it is getting sold. If we look at comparison of whether EV solves all the problems as green versus if you look at hybrid, again, why the world has gone only for hybrid, only for EVs instead of hybrid. Let's park that question. Whole world is actually going gung-ho about EVs. But if you see technically, hybrids are the solution. Okay, I'm making a kind of a bold statement here. But if you see, there is no range anxiety, and I'm talking about a hybrid which is not required to be plugged. So you have a small battery that you have, which is a rechargeable battery, a lithium-ion battery, which gets charged and discharged along the way. And if you have an average of around 19 kilometers for your car, Toyota Hyryder, it gets jumped to around 28 to 29.
28 kilometers.
So 40 to 45% gain.
Yes.
Removal of range anxiety, the same infrastructure of gasoline works, no issues about life cycle for the batteries, everything is taken care of. The battery is smaller, so the risk of how much you have to invest after 3 years, if it goes, it does not go, but if it goes and you have to replace it in 3 to 5 to 8 years, that cost also comes on. So we have to study this, like, why government is bringing this topic of hybrids getting promoted against electric vehicles, and that's where I would park this question of policies. Mix of policies are coming. What governments want to achieve, at times you will find they are promoting hydrogen. Mirai was getting promoted, it is coming at 65 lakhs minimum of that. Hydrogen creates electricity which gets fed to again the electric vehicle. Hydrogen conversion is around 18 to 20% efficient process. So we are losing big way for energy conversion. So actually a comprehensive way that we have to see, if government is bringing not only R&D but the whole ecosystem, as she was pointing out, right from energy creation, where we create energy, we distribute energy in the form of network, we consume in the form of charger, we actually get it within the batteries of battery manufacturers. If we have to actually look at battery, exchange kind of a policy. There is a battery exchange policy also but is there a standardization of how battery charging
Yes.
for various vehicles, various size of vehicles is happening, whether it is suitable for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers. We see some examples of Sun Mobility doing it for Piaggio in maybe Bangalore as a state. Such a comprehensive framework is something that I am seeing as a expectation from industry that we need to put back on government, where all the stakeholders are getting addressed. They're sitting together for a common goal. If at all 30% or zero emission by 2017 is the target, it has to be target for everybody. Not only for the OEMs who are now making business. Some OEMs which are not seeing benefits, there is no foreign manufacturer in the fray for Kona, if at all you see. It is on the higher bracket.
Yes.
If you see the imported, even Chinese cars, those come around 30 to 35 lakhs.
BYD. 35 and 85.
Others are not there. Internationally, they are making their EV policy. As you rightly said, they are having their own ways that they want to address that market in their own way. The point is about policies. If we have a comprehensive framework.
What I think why government is coming up with the hybrid policy, hybrid vehicles and all. If you see, this is my personal understanding or my thoughts. For high rider, you don't need charging or charging infrastructure. It gets charged when it's running.
Yes.
So you don't need infrastructure also for charging. So implementation of charging infrastructure is not easy. In the year of 2016-17, I have visited Norway couple of times to understand before we created our own project for EV. I noticed that they have a special parking for the EV vehicles. They have I'm talking about the role of the government and the public-private participation, but some point of time you need government policy to be implemented strictly. They have a special tax structure for the EV vehicles. At the charging infrastructure, wherever you are charging your vehicle, the area is marked for those vehicles who can charge the
Charge point.
Nobody can park there. But I have seen in Pune that DC infrastructure, the company called Bijli or something has put up the public charging stations. They have given a space of 3 cars can be parked. But any point of time you go there, there is no parking place. Some other vehicle have taken over that parking place. So there our government interference is required. That
Absolutely.
they should come up. Suppose I'm going there, I have checked on some app that there is a charging station available at there. I go there and found there's nobody, because we want to eliminate the manual intervention. It's automatically, but he cannot park his vehicle for charging. So there the role of the government comes.
Absolutely.
It's a public-private participation. Whatever is coming up in Pune also, Pune
Correct.
Municipal Corporation have outsourced it to create the parking infrastructure. But at such level, I think government intervention of implementation of those strict rules is required to promote. What is your take on this?
You have aptly pointed out again the government intervention on the implementation of strict rules. This will definitely play an important role along with the public participation. If as a same Indian, I go to Singapore, I behave differently. I know what is discipline.
Absolutely.
And in India, in a Pune mall where there is a charging station, I want to park my ICE vehicle there.
Yes.
So public participation is quintessential, is the key, is going to be the key for the EV adoption and implementation of the government rules.
Yes.
Eventually. Because if I decide as a public that I don't want to follow the rules, what will the government do? After a certain point of time, how many people are they going to track down? So, as responsible citizens, it is our duty also, whatever charging infrastructures are available, let us respect that. Let us park only the EV vehicles that need charging.
Yes.
Let us behave in a responsible way as citizens. Because without our participation, active
Absolutely.
and responsible participation, disciplined participation, this is not going to happen.
So we cannot blame anything on the government.
We can't.
cannot.
We can't.
Because I know that when Norway, I've noticed that if somebody parks there 3 times, they cancel their license.
There will be a huge penalty.
Penalty as well, they cancel their license. But size does matter, as you know. So the Norway is smaller than Pune,
Absolutely.
one city of us. So that is something,
To go beyond, Pune psyche or maybe Indian, okay, what will happen? They will cancel the license. That guy will drive without that license. What will we do?
and
135 CR mob. So that's what. And as far as your high rider point is concerned, wherein the hybrid vehicles we are talking about, somewhere from the evolution of from the transformation of from ICE to EV vehicles, as you have also rightly mentioned, we have missed out this hybrid aspect of it. Hybrid vehicles, they definitely leave you with no range anxiety. This should have been the first priority
Absolutely.
when
This
we
is-
decided to shift to EVs. It should have been a,
Phase.
instead of a
phase manner.
vertical transformation, it should have been a proper, step by step transformation where we shifted to a hybrid vehicle first. I don't have the range anxiety. Okay, my battery gets charged on its own. I got the feel. Okay, it is an EV. It doesn't get short circuited in the rain. It doesn't blow up. Okay, I'm fine. I've driven 2 years, 3 years. Okay, now I want to shift to an entirely EV vehicle.
Absolutely. That's the upgradation.
That should have happened.
And what I think, that if we come up, especially these days, the cost of the high rider is, I think, around 30, 22, 25.
It's the same.
We should adopt this in a lower vehicle also,
Yeah.
to make the people understand and be ready for the EV adoption. There are 2-3 things which solves automatically. One is the range anxiety.
Correct.
Number 2, the biggest point is you don't have to look for a charging infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Third is cost. If we reduce the cost of these vehicles and put up on the smaller vehicles, the adoption will be much faster. And then we can upgrade them later on to the EV vehicles. Because range of around 25, 28, 30 kilometers in a liter is a very good range for the four-wheeler like high rider.
Absolutely. Otherwise, the company itself is claiming 18 to 20 kilometers.
But on the road, on the
Okay.
highway, it gives 28, 30.
Correct.
I was talking to a dealer who अपना SB road पे. So the practical,
So it's a slow game that
Yes.
Toyota is playing. Toyota is, if you see, Toyota Prius globally has been having this vehicle for 25, 30 years. They've launched it in the US market. They have been successful. So hybrid-wise, the technology leaders in the world are Toyota.
yes,
And they are sitting on the border just for that adoption. Now, Nexon, if you see, is around 22 lakh rupees. High Rider is 22 lakh rupees. Even the Curve is going to cannibalize. Curve is a new model that Tata,
Yes, Tata
Tata
is
is launching right now.
yeah.
Is also priced at 22 lakhs. So a sweet spot. So they are looking at, let these guys fight. Maybe the initial battles, let them get whatever benefits that they want to get, or losses if at all there is some pushback. But then Toyota would be the one through Maruti is actually sitting on the fence to make that entry of hybrid. Hybrid, as such, technologically would definitely serve that part. The third element, as is it is going to go to the same gas stations. So you don't have scarcity of gas stations. You are always used to fill your petrol from the same gas stations where
Yeah.
you continue. So your lifestyle also does not change. Your mindset also does not change, but it will give you, instead of 19, 40% more mileage. So I
Yeah.
think
So,
that could be the direction.
Infrastructure wise, if I see when you drive from Delhi to Haridwar, you have a food malls where you can decide which charging station I want to use. It's a 12 minutes, half an hour, 1.5 hour. So that's what kind of flexibility we should have.